as if he was hedging against a Trump win, that, well, if I can't get him in court, I'm going to try to get him in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. It's kind of a microcosm of the entire case generally, isn't it? Because I think the case itself was election interference, as I said just a couple of minutes ago. It never would have been brought if Donald Trump had not announced that he was running for president for a third time. And the fact that he is releasing all that information that he considered damning, which was actually just a rehashing of all the stuff that had already been dragged out through the public already, it was an obvious attempt to try to influence the upcoming election because he wasn't going to get the trial that he wanted before Election Day. And no doubt he did fear that Trump was actually going to win. And that means that he feared the verdict of the American people. What sort of a prosecutor is that when you actually fear the verdict of the voters of this country? That's clearly what Jack Smith was up to. And it's good to see.
I mean, how is it possibly fair to trickle out this information for what would clearly seem to be political purposes?
I would never, ever for 1 minute make the case that it was fair. I think everything that he did in this case from the very beginning was unfair. It was from the beginning of the method of his appointment. Well, a lot of people would argue that he was unconstitutionally appointed to that position, and he should not be the one bringing the charges, should not have brought the charges. None of this. I went and testified. Imagine the dozens of people who got dragged through this, had to hire lawyers to go sit in front of Jack Smith, all because he had a political vendetta against Donald Trump, and it has come to this. It's being dropped because Donald Trump won the verdict of the American people, not Jack Smith.
Okay, well, based on people at the federal level, the incoming administration, they're a little bit talking out of both sides of their mouth, because on the one hand, they keep promising and beating their chests that they're going to fulfill this campaign, pledge of mass deportation, 15 million people, 20 million people. I mean, that is at a scale where you will be ripping people out of their homes and workplaces and schools. But then at the same time, whenever people push back and say, why would you want to cause widespread fear and ruin the economy and all the impacts that would involve, they say, no, you're being, whatever personal insult in there, because we're only focusing on public safety and those who have a criminal record. And that's not true. There are simply not 20 million immigrant people in this country who have criminal records. It is a tiny, tiny fraction of
we know there's
population.
We know at least there's one person with a criminal record. But go ahead, Mayor. I'm sorry.
And so what we're doing at the city level is we're being clear about what the lines are. For the last 10 years, we've had the Trust Act on the books.